Hey everybody, Ace here. I had to postpone this week's video of how to get no views and little money with Ace McCarty. And if you're wondering, man, he looks a little bit different in this video compared to his last videos, or even compared to his thumbnails. Well, the reason being is because I broke my glasses in half yesterday at work. Just straight in half, broke them. So I'm going glassesless. And because of that, the topic we're gonna be talking about today is HSAs, which is a health savings account. What it is, how are you eligible, and what are the benefits to it? An HSA is a health savings account. It's a savings account that's used in conjunction with a high deductible insurance policy, and it allows the user to save money tax-free for medical expenses. HSAs come in a variety of different shapes and sizes. They can be tall and long or short and round. A variety of different companies offer HSAs. Heck, your employer might even offer you an HSA. And some companies would even offer a match for your HSA, just like they do for a 401k. If you put in a certain amount of money, they'll put in a certain amount of money, which is another benefit to taking advantage of that HSA. Free money from your company. So who is, or how are you eligible for an HSA? Well, first off, you have to be over 18 years of age. You must be covered under a qualified high deductible health plan on the first day of the month. And you may not be covered under any health plan that is not a qualified high deductible health plan. Next, you must not be enrolled in Medicare, which is the Social Security for healthcare. And you cannot be claimed as a dependent on someone else's taxes. So as I said, your employer might offer an HSA, but if not, you can always open one yourself, as long as you are on a high deductible insurance policy. There are no income limits to an HSA, and if you had an HSA through an employer and you ended up switching jobs, you can either roll that HSA over or leave it, and it always stays active. So I've quickly gone over what is an HSA, who and what are eligible for an HSA. So let's dive into what are the benefits of having a health savings account. There are a handful of benefits for having a health savings account, but I'm going to highlight my 4 favorites. First, contributions to an HSA are 100% deductible, up to the legal limit, just like an IRA. Withdrawals to pay medical expenses, even dental and vision, are 100% tax-free. So when I broke my glasses in half the other day at work, if I had an HSA and eye insurance, which is probably a good idea to have, I would be able to take money out of that HSA for an eye exam and get glasses that are insured and have a new pair probably on my face right now. The third thing that is great about an HSA is any interest or growth that is earned in it, if used on qualified medical expenses, is never taxed. It's 100% tax-free. So for a quick example, if you have $5,000 in there, you don't go to the doctor for a year and that $5,000 turns into $7,000, and then you need to put $7,000 down on a qualified surgery or a doctor's visit or an ER visit, that's 100% tax-free money. And my 4th favorite thing about an HSA is that any unused money at the end of the year rolls over to the next year and continues to grow tax-free. So unlike an FSA, which is a flexible spending account, money at the end of the year with an FSA is gone, it's forfeited, so you either use it or lose it. But with an HSA, if you don't use money at the end of the year, that's perfectly fine. You just let it continue to roll over and grow for the next year. So you can really just look at an HSA like another investment account for your medical expenses. And a great way to think about an HSA is to accumulate money in that account for retirement. It's one of the only accounts you can have in your retirement specifically for medical expenses. And what I mean by that is you don't have to take money out of your 401k, your Roth IRA, or your brokerage account to pay for medical expenses. You can have money specifically in your HSA when you're retired and use that money for any medical expenses you need. Dental, vision, you fall over and break your hip and you gotta pay for it, you can use your HSA for that. An HSA does have contribution limits to it, just like an IRA might. So in my previous videos, I've talked about IRAs having a $6,000 contribution limit, or like a 401k has a $19,000 contribution limit. Well, your HSA has the same. The contribution limit for an HSA, if you're an individual, is $3,550. And if you're a family, it's $7,100. That's of 2020. In 2021, the HSA contribution limit is increasing by $50 for a single and $100 for a family. So in 2021, your contribution limit is going to be $3,600 as an individual and $7,200 as a family. An HSA isn't just a glorified savings account. You can invest that money. You can let it compound and grow for your medical expenses in the future. And the benefit to it is that it's tax-free, meaning when you put money in, it's tax deferred. When you pull money out for medical expenses, it's never taxed. You're saving yourself money, and it can be used throughout your entire life. So let's just say you put money away into your HSA every single year for 20 years, and then you retire. Well, during retirement, you fall and you break your arm when you're outside shoveling the snow. Or when you're gardening, you break your wrist. When you get those medical expenses from the ER because you broke your bone, you can take the money out of your HSA and use it to pay for those medical bills. And when you do that, it's all tax-free. So if you were going to use your money from your 401k or an individual brokerage account, you would have to take your money out, which would be taxed, and then pay for those medical expenses. But with an HSA, when you take that money out and you pay for that medical expense, it's not taxed, ever. A good idea might be to save up money in your HSA as much as you can afford every year until you hit retirement. Then you can use that bucket of money that's in your HSA for any medical expenses you have for your entire time frame of retirement. I'll tell you one thing, if I had an HSA and eye insurance, I would definitely go get myself a new pair of glasses rather than having to wait until the new year to get through open enrollment, have vision insurance, and get myself a pair of glasses. But it is what it is. If you like this video, please just tap that thumbs up button for me. That'd really help me out. Subscribe below for more content on investing, finance, or anything that has to do with money. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.